tip number 1, let's work smarter before we start working harder. Get easy gearing. There's a few ways you can do that. You can put a bigger cassette on the back, you can get a smaller chainring at the front. You could also get a rear mech hanger extender, and that will enable you to get an even bigger cassette on the back than recommended. Or you can do what I do and do all 3 of them. Originally I had a gear ratio of 34-34 as my lowest gear. First thing I did to make it easier, I got a hanger extender for the rear mech at the back, which then enabled me to, instead of having a max 34 tough at the back, I was then able to fit in a 42 tough at the back. And then once the GRX came back into stock, I got a 46-30 at the front, giving me an easiest gear 30-42, and that has made going up extremely steep hills, 20% plus, even into the 30s, much easier. About to keep a higher cadence. Instead of turning the pedals in the 40s and 50s RPM, now turning the pedals in the 60s and 70s when it gets that steep, making it a lot more manageable and doable. Tip 2, it's all about mindset. If you're not able to get up the climb in one, you have to put your foot down or whatever happened, don't worry about it. Don't see it as a failure, see it as a chance to learn. What do I need to do better next time? For example, the climb I'm doing today, Bushcombe Lane, I've done this twice before. First time back in 2022, basically I didn't have enough power, so I knew I had to go back, train hard to get my legs more powerful. Came back in 2023, definitely had the power to get up it. Got past the first of 2 points where I put my foot down last time, got past it no problem. Second point was getting to it, looked good, feeling good, but I was concentrating so hard on trying to keep the power down, but I didn't pick a good enough line to take on the really second steep bend. In the end I had to put my foot down before I went into a curb. So coming into this now the 3rd time, I've got myself even stronger, so should be able to put enough power down to get up it. Just need to focus on that second bend, making sure I pick a good enough line, but I can maneuver around that bend easy enough, then carry on. Because after that second steep bend, it's not easy, but it definitely starts getting easier. All the hard work was done. Anyway, here's Bushcombe Lane. Let's give this a blast. It's climbs like this, I'm glad I've got my 30-42 gear ratio. Here goes nothing. Here's the first bend. Where that bench is. First time I had to stop there. Come on, you got this, keep going. Keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Yes. Maneuver that bend. Oh. You can wait. Cheers, mate. Yes. It's not the end of the climb. The steep evil stuff. It's done. I'm really grateful that car driver coming down the road there wasn't rushing me or basically made me stop. Oh, I've been devastated. Nearly finished. There we go. 10 minutes and 11 seconds according to the Wahoo. Done. And I feel done. Let's catch my breath back and we'll go over tip number 3. That church looks nice with the tree blossoming and the church in the background. Tip number 3 is not going to apply to everyone, but if you are someone who doesn't want to ride steep climbs because you're scared of having to put your foot down and then maybe not unclipping in time, tip number 3 is for you, which is ride them with flat pedals. Riding with flat pedals means you'll be able to get your foot off the pedal very easy, put your foot down and not have to worry about, am I going to be able to unclip in time or not. Doesn't mean you have to ride permanently with flat pedals. It's just whilst you get your confidence up on those steep climbs, you're like, yeah, I can get up these. I'm not too worried about having to unclip and put my foot down because I'm feeling like I'm strong enough. And then you can put your clips back in. It's a really good way of just getting your confidence up and getting rid of that barrier of like, oh, I'm scared of steep hills, so I may have to unclip. Tip number 4, study the climb before you get to the climb. Let's take a really famous steep hill, Hardknott Pass. Everyone talks about the 30% hairpin, but if you didn't study the climb properly, you may not have realised when you enter the climb at the beginning, well before the 33% hairpins, that there's a 25% section there. You also may not know after that little section, it's fairly flat afterwards, where you can catch your breath back just before the 33% hairpins. And people after that think, oh yeah, I've done it. No, you haven't. Afterwards is just as brutal as it carries on, just dragging 20% plus up until the finish. Now, if you know where everything is in the climb, you can prepare mentally for it and also know where you can and can't save energy. Now, that climb is very hard to save energy, but there is that gap in the middle where you can save your energy. And so for there, I would be pedaling as easy as possible, trying to recover as much as possible before you get to the 33% hairpin, giving yourself the best chance of getting over that really steep section with the hairpins, but then afterwards carrying on where it continues to be really steep. And you can use that principle for any climb, be it steep, not steep, long, short, whatever it is. You can find out where the steep parts are, where the not so steep parts are, where it is to rest, how many steep sections are, how long the climb is, so you can make a plan on where you're going to use your energy and where you're going to save your energy. Right, I'm going to let this tractor go by, and then we're going to tackle our second climb, which is Salters Lane. Let him go. Right, let's go. I don't like the look of that cattle grid, that bit. Look like something what would chew up a wheel. I think I can see sheep in the road ahead. You know, a little trot off. Not bad scenery for the climb. Do like this one. No! Oh no, I think I've forgotten to press play when I was going up Salters Lane. Oh no! On a more positive note, beat my time by 30 seconds. Right, I just checked then. It looks like I got some of the recording of Salters Lane, so it's not the end of the world, but I got it. Not sure what you've missed, but I really enjoyed that climb. Views up at the top, going through a sheep field. Really nice climb and challenging. It was fairly steep into the mid to high teens. Right, going back to the train station now. Once we finish this descent, we'll give you tip number 5. Also, whilst I was climbing Salters Lane, in my head I came up with a bonus tip, so I'll give that just as I get to the train station. Right, let's get going again. Tip number 5 is about route planning. If you're doing steep hills and like you're a beginner to it, plan your hills to be at the beginning of your ride if possible. Like for example then, doing the 2 climbs on today, Bushcombe Lane and Salters Lane. Bushcombe Lane quite comfortably is the steeper and more difficult climb. So I did that climb first, where my legs were fresher and gave me a better chance of getting up that climb. Another example of that is the 100 climb sportive, which I'm currently training for over in Sheffield. That has Bamford Clough, the steepest and most difficult climb in the country. In that sportive it's a bit different. You get to plan your own route, So I've purposely, in that route, I'm going to be going up Bamford Clough first, to give myself the greatest chance of getting up that climb. If I need to put my foot down, walking or restarting, but that is going to be bloody tough, that is. Right, so that's the main 5 tips. Let's get to the train station, then I'll give you bonus number 6. Right, well, I love you and leave you here. Thank you for watching, and not forgetting bonus tip number 6. Use whichever weather app you use, work out which direction the wind is going, and try and make sure you get, when you're going up that climb, you're going up it with a tailwind. Don't want to make it too hard as you're getting used to climbing up these steep hills. Right, see you next time.